Doctors Without Borders has released the results of their internal report into the October bombing of their hospital in Kunduz, Afghanistan, and the details are rough. The report describes in brutal detail the severity of the attack, noting that patients burned in their beds and that medical staff were decapitated and lost limbs. It went on to note that a patient in a wheelchair attempting to escape from the inpatient department was killed by shrapnel from a blast. And perhaps most damning, beyond just the explosions, it goes on to say, many staff described seeing people being shot, most likely from the plane, as people tried to flee the main hospital building that was being hit with each airstrike. Some accounts mention shooting that appeared to follow the movement of people on the run. Doctors Without Borders, doctors, and other medical staff were shot while trying to reach safety in a different part of the compound. Now,
okay. So here's a couple of things. First off, they had put up flags on the compound saying this is a hospital, okay, Doctors Without Borders. So it was clear what this building was. It wasn't a stray bomb that went in the wrong direction. In fact,
it's not collateral.
It was the only building that had a power generator. It stood out where it was. It's not like where this bombing happened, like, oh, it's Chicago and there's all these different sophisticated buildings and we happened at the wrong building. No, it's a giant building that stands out from everything else. It's the only one with a power generator. It's got flags on it. They told them over and over the location of the building. They told the U.S. They gave them the coordinates to make sure that they don't bomb a hospital by mistake. But, okay, put all that aside. 18 different distress calls throughout the bombing from the hospital saying, please stop bombing us. You're bombing a hospital. The bombing lasted an hour, okay? Now, so it's not like, oh no, the bomb landed in the wrong place. Oh my God, it's a hospital. Oh God, what have we done, right? No, we're getting the distress calls. We know where it is, and we bombed it over and over and over again for an hour-long campaign. And then apparently, according to this, we shot the doctors leaving the building.
Yeah.
Now, look, understand something. If this is the first time you've ever heard this, you find it unbelievable. Like, no, we couldn't have done that. But we actually have a policy of doing this from time to time. It's called a double tap. It's a thing that exists. Now, normally how a double tap works is you bomb something, usually in northern Pakistan, sometimes in Yemen, sometimes in Afghanistan. And when first responders come, you hit them again. Okay. Now, the reason you do that is not because you want to hit first responders in most of the cases, although in this case it's a little different because apparently they did want to hit the hospital, according to the charges, because they had the temerity to also treat the other side. They're treating some of the Taliban guys. And yes, that's because they're doctors, right? But usually you do the double tap because you think, the people who are going to rush in to help the bad guy that we just hit will be friends of the bad guy and hence guilty by association, right? That's the same reason we'll bomb funerals. So if you think, you're living under this myth that, the U.S. are great moral actors and we would never do anything wrong, and if we've ever killed a civilian, it was by complete and utter coincidence and collateral damage, but we didn't mean it and we're the good guys. Look, there's a good case to make that we're the good guys in many different contexts. But look a little further, and I'm not saying we're the universal bad guys. I'm not saying we're worse than the other guys. I'm saying we could do a lot better if we're doing things like double tapping and apparently hitting this hospital on purpose for an hour.
I believe that it's incredibly likely that the military is hiding quite a bit that might never come out. And we have the response from the Department of Defense, and I don't think it's a great response. But just devil's advocate, if they were being shot at from the plane, and I believe that they said it was an AC-130, that is flying high enough that it's unlikely that they would have necessarily been able to tell the identities of the individuals running from the hospital. They were strafing a building and they were firing at the people that they saw leaving it. It's possible that maybe
they were only strafing a hospital as people were leaving.
But if their story is true and it is not a hospital being operated, it's not hospital staff, it is in fact the Taliban, then they saw what they thought were Taliban fleeing from the building, and so they shot at them. I'm not saying they accidentally shot at them, but if you believe their story, they were shooting at what they thought were the enemy. And it's not the same as shooting someone from 20 yards away on the ground. I don't know that that is the truth. I think, as I said, that the military is hiding quite a bit.
I'm sure the military is hiding, but I want to ask the other side now. If it's not as John says, then what was it, Cenk? You're saying that the military targeted this hospital because they were treating Taliban.
And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. So our local allies on the ground in Afghanistan had complained to us about the hospital because they're like, we're trying to kill the Taliban, we're fighting them every day, and then they get hurt and they go into the hospital and they get treated. Well, I don't want them treated, I want them dead, that's why I shot them, right? So now a lot of right-wingers hearing that will be like, oh, wait a minute, that sounds pretty good. That's right. Why are we treating the Taliban? We should murder them all. We should go into the hospital and slit all their throats, right? But we can't go in the hospital and slit their throats. That's too, it's then you're killing the doctor and you're burning the guys in their beds, right? So what do? What we always do, we drop a bomb, right? We drop a series of bombs. Now, John, to your point, do I think that the guys on the plane were targeting the doctors specifically? No. I hope to God they weren't. But, so I'm sure that part of their rationale was they bought into our allies like, hey, the Taliban's there. There's some important Taliban guys in that hospital. They know it's a hospital. So they can't say it's not, they didn't know it was a hospital. They're like, yeah, but we got to break some eggs to make this omelet, right? So I'm going to hit the hospital anyway. I know a couple of doctors are going to die. We'll call it collateral damage. Mainly, though, we want to kill the Taliban guys in there. But if the guys are fleeing the hospital, don't ask questions about whether it's a doctor, a nurse, or a Taliban guy. In your best case scenario, they can't see who it is.
Yeah,
so that's why
they're
not.
Likely.
They might not be targeting doctors, but that means I don't care if it's a doctor fleeing a hospital. I'm going to shoot everything that comes out of that building.
Which Chomsky would make the point that that's even less moral than a guy who murders someone on purpose. Because when you murder someone on purpose, you at least acknowledge the humanity of that person. And when you consider someone as a collateral damage, then they're just like ants that you're stepping on as you walk down the street. And that's what we're doing. And that's what this is. This is a war crime, which we've committed lots of war crimes since 9/11. None of them get prosecuted because we're the most powerful people in the world. So we're committing war crimes to go help people who are being victims of war crimes and the crazy Taliban. And they're so crazy that they cut people's heads off. We only shoot doctors, and we use a C-130, which you're not supposed to use in residential areas, in urban areas. We know we're not supposed to do that. We're doing war crimes on purpose, and no one gives a shit, all right? We're not the good guys over there. What are we doing over there? What are we trying to sort out? We're not the good guys over there. Well, I don't know why we're there. I don't know what we think we're doing over there, but $30 billion more for bombs next year, I guarantee you it will be more fucked up after we do that $30 billion of bombing than it is right now. So it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse until they finally do come start attacking us here in America. There's all this bullshit about we got to fight them over there because John McCain just said that again on NPR. We had to fight them over there so they don't export terror here. So eventually they will export terror here. Anyway, I could keep go on and on, but this is a war crime. It will not be prosecuted.
Okay, so they made a mistake here because they bombed Westerners. If they'd done what they always do, which is bomb Afghans and Pakistanis, and
we wouldn't even be talking about it.
Nobody would be talking about it. It'd be ho hum, right?
It's been proven that the drone bombings we do kill more innocent people, and no one cares about this.
But that's the whole point that I'm trying to make here. And I know that I'm probably already being attacked in the comments for being insufficiently critical. My defense of the motivation in attacking it isn't an idealistic defense. It's not, oh, we're the good guys, we wouldn't do this. It's purely a pragmatic defense. If Doctors Without Borders is there, Doctors Without Borders policy is always to take in anyone. The argument that, oh, they've got some enemies there, that makes some sense, but that's an argument to always bomb Doctors Without Borders hospitals. And to take out a few Taliban, when you know that is going to be international news, when you bomb that is going to be the story the next day. It's not a random hospital. It's Doctors Without Borders. That's an internationally respected organization.
So why would they do it?
Pragmatically, they would potentially do it if they had been, either they had bad intel or had been purposefully deceived by our Afghani allies who don't give a fuck about the fact that it's Doctors Without Borders and want it bombed.
But John, it's a bombing that lasts an hour. They got 18 messages. It's a hospital. You're killing doctors. It's a hospital. The patients are burning in their beds.
I get all that. Just to me, the idea that we're going to take out a couple Taliban at the expense of...
I have the answer. I get what you're saying. John's point is perfectly logical. It's not worth the PR disaster that it's likely to become, so it's counterproductive. Why would the U.S. military do it, even if they had bad intentions? I understand what you're saying, right? But it's because we're coming at it from the wrong perspective. They've been there too long, and in their bubble, there are no more rules.
Yes.
Right? And so they're in the jungle there, right? In proverbially speaking. And every day they kill, they bomb, and they've gotten away with everything, right? So they feel like they're in an environment with like, God damn it, I got to get this Taliban. We've been here for 13 years and we're still losing to the goddamn Taliban. In fact, the Taliban had taken a very important city, Kunduz, recently, very recently, right before the attack. So they're enormously frustrated. They've never had any consequences for any bombing they've ever done. All the innocents that were killed, no one ever cared. So in a situation, it's almost like what happened in Vietnam. The more you strip away the humanity and the rules, at some point somebody forgets that there are rules, right? And I think that's what happened here.
I think that happened March of 2002 when we forgot there were any rules. And because, this theory that why would the military bomb a hospital? Because they know it would look bad. I don't know if you guys remember, we invaded Iraq illegally, killed hundreds of thousands of people. It looked bad. We don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
they want to go into Iran now. Nobody gives a shit. So this whole idea that somehow we're the moral actor, there's no morality involved whatsoever.
To Jimmy's point about why are we there? So a lot of right-wingers will scream, oh, they attacked us from Al-Qaeda attacked us from their base in Afghanistan. Okay, that was in 2001. Granting that point, it's 14 years later. But one of the most startling things that I saw was a poll that they did, and the brave pollsters that did this, unbelievable. They literally risked their lives to do this poll, where they went to different parts of Afghanistan and asked them, why are the Americans in your country? Okay, two amazing things out of that. One, they said, what country? Most of them don't know what Afghanistan is. They know what their valley is. They have no concept of Afghanistan as a nation, okay? The second one was over 90% of them had never heard of 9/11. They have no idea why we're there. All they know is they're bombing us, so I guess we got to fight back. So this is the perpetual war that we started. Has it brought us perpetual peace? It doesn't look like it.